Hello Nigeria, good morning. Hello Enugu, good morning to you today. It's Saturday the 29th day, the last Saturday in the month of November. And of course, we understand that the year is gradually coming to an end. You're welcome to New Day, the weekend breakfast show here on Signature TV. I am Princess Kenachama. I trust you're having a good day. I trust you're engaging in your end of month sanitation process going on right here in Enugu State. All right, but before we get right into anything for today, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to one of us here in the studios, Queeneth Wokonta. If you're familiar with our show E-Vibes, the entertainment show if you're familiar with E-Vibes show, our entertainment show here on Signature TV, of course, you know our baby girl. Happy birthday to you. Pray that God continues to bless you in all your endeavors and continue to, prosper, and you will excel in all that you do. Happy birthday, Queeneth. All right, we are starting off this morning with our newspaper headlines, and then we'll move into our newspaper review for this morning. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. So we're moving straight into our newspaper headlines for this morning, starting off with our Punch newspaper. The major headline on page 4, DHQ summons grills soldiers in Abuja. How military opted for negotiation after failed rescue. Attacks must stop. Attacks won't stop our children from returning to school, victims' parents say. All right. Kissing passionately on set means nothing. Actress Itemudia speaks. Marked identity. How recycled SIM cards send innocent citizens to jail. Goodluck Jonathan says Guinea-Bissau coup more painful than losing to Buhari. Uniport student to die by hanging for killing girlfriend. Okay. And on page 8, Obasanjo to FG. Stop apologizing, negotiating with terrorists. And then Burna Boy faces fan fury, pulls plug on US tour. Ex-American George Ade Muluyi says, U.S. lawyers raped me at Bar Association conference. We have another on the Punch. It says, no true Muslim will kill Christians. Says an Islamic cleric, Eleha. No true Muslim will kill citizens. Blocked preacher. Omoleyi's camp reveals more details against PFN. Nigeria elected into UN Agencies Council. And still on Punch, we have Shatima Atiku governors bid Sheikh Bauchi farewell. Cardoso, 27 banks raise capital to meet recapitalization targets. Freed 38 Kwara church worshippers still held in Ilorin. ADC faction rejects Kogi lawmakers' expulsion. Nnamdi Kanu's rights violation suit already late, says lawyer. Insecurity, northern governors give 56 billion naira security votes. Ex-Punch GM to deliver media lecture. I'm not dead, says Ngige. Okay. Military lacks power to forcefully recruit Nigerians. And lastly, on Punch, you have DSS invites Dati Baba Ahmed over inciting comments. Now we move over to Vanguard. On page 10, on our major headline, we have insecurity. Our ranks, equipment have been infiltrated. Retired generals speak. Go after terrorism sponsors to stop this nonsense. How to rescue Nigeria. On page 20, okay. On page 29, Uniport student sentenced to death for killing dismembering lover. Page 9 has grieving family of 8 die in Benue auto crash. Page 23, who owns Dirty December? Nigerians prepare for it. Page 21, we have Rihanna Eminem react as Burna Boy battles cancel culture. Page 31 has how a song about Nigeria became Jimmy Cliff's chart buster. Page 29 of the Vanguard has Cardoso. Nigeria attracts $20.98 billion foreign capital inflow in 10 months. On insecurity on page 30, OBJ says Nigeria free to seek help from outside. On page 20, on home affairs, what's going on? Gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, pansexual, asexual, intersex, hard femme, cross-dresser, changing the world. Still on the Vanguard, we have Obi visits Ngige after convoy attack as ex-minister recounts ordeal. Alleged rights violation while appeal court struck out Nnamdi Kanu's case against federal government. Ruling on Northern Scan leadership sparks conflicting interpretations. Gbenga Hashim Front 2027 mourns passing of Dahiru Bauchi. Okay, Peter Obi visits Ngige after convoy attack. 39 kidnapped victims regain freedom in Katsina. Nigerians shouldn't apologize for seeking international help on insecurity, Obasanjo says. Jonathan explains why I returned to Nigeria on Ivorian jets. Troops kill scores of terrorists, arrest 53, rescue 36 victims in nationwide operations, the military says. Nigeria committed to boosting local production of defense equipment, says Matawale. And lastly, Niger students abduction. Police open register for proper documentation of kidnapped victims in Papiri. All right, we'll move over to the Vanguard. Vanguard on pages 8 and 9 says, as Yuletide beckons, motorists, commuters agonize over deplorable interstate roads. Page 41, Oborevori unveils ambitious 1.664 trillion naira Delta 2026 budget. On page 2, Nigeria doesn't violate religious freedom. Federal government insists. Nation battling worsening terrorism. On page 3, have a case on Banana Island property. Bonza accuses NDIC of intimidation, vows to seek legal redress. On page 2, Nigeria spends 28.8 trillion naira on petrol in 12 months. Enough of lip service to state police. And on page 3 also we have WHO UNAIDS urge renewed commitment to end HIV in Africa. On page 5, we have, again, bulldozer rolls in Oworosonki, rendering over 3,000 residents homeless. On page 10, on Spotlight, we have inside the race to fill Ijebuland's Awujale stool. Okay. Still on Vanguard. All right. we move over to the next newspaper for this morning. We have the Nation newspaper. The Nation says on page 2, EFCC probes Malami over alleged multi-billion-dollar deals. On page 3, ambassadors, why Tinubu opted for OK, Dawhatu and Are. Page 4, protection, VIPs turn to correctional service, NSCDC, private security firms. Police disown viral memo on withdrawal of officers. And still on Nation, Shatima urges young Islamic scholars to uphold Sheikh Bauchi's legacy of tolerance. 6 harmful effects of keeping your phone beside you while you sleep. All right, still on the Nation, FG to require 30% local value addition on national resources before exports. And lastly, Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, Osun governments reassure residents on adequate security during and beyond festive seasons. All right, we have here in the studio our in-house analyst to, help us discuss most of this newspaper this morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Princess. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you this morning?
I'm going to be better with thank God.
All right.
Welcome all the people who have joined us this morning on SLTV Newspaper Review on New Day. And that's how we roll. From the punchy punch, we have several things to talk about. KB schoolgirls abduction. The Defense Headquarters, DHQ, summons grills soldiers in Abuja. That's wonderful. This is not time for summon. This is not time for grill. This is not time for question. This is time for action. So we're expecting that DHQ, when they invite the military or they bring them together, we'll be thinking about new strategy to fight this is a dangerous satanic menace that has entered our country and is creeping under everybody, consuming lives and property and destroying the trust we have on ourselves as a nation. The issue of banditry and terrorism has brought distrust among tribes, among religion. The hands are being pointed. It got to a point. Muslims do not trust Christians, Christians do not trust Muslims, the African traditional religion do not trust atheists. Now, who do we trust? Because we felt that this thing has come in, and that's what the people, these satanic people that have brought this menace want to achieve. They want to kill every trust among us as Nigerians so that every man will be afraid of his neighbor. And that's what's taking us. So the military opted for negotiation after failed rescue. And attacks won't stop our children from returning to schools, victim parents said. That's a very good resolve, because if you people will notice, and people who have been following the development of insecurity in Nigeria, it started by attacking people and inflicting what they call psychological trauma and fear. Mass killing, bombing of buses and all starts. After that, they moved into agriculture. They moved into the farms, the farms in the interiors, where women, children, and poor citizens, the farmers who do the farming, that they sell whatever is the excess to the major market. They started with that. Farmers, women cannot go to their farms to harvest their crops. They rape them, they kill them, they harass and do. Then that has brought food insecurity in Nigeria. Beyond that, they move into education, of abduction and killing and closing of schools, just to achieve the same aim. So people who watch me, or people who are watching now, if Nigerian education, agriculture, if Nigerian what they call trust as a nation, our sovereignty is attacked, what is left for us? So we expect at DHQ, we only begin to bring up new strategies. And Punchy Punch, in his normal way, said DHQ summons, grills, soldiers in Abuja. It sounds, a house divided against itself cannot stand. What we expect them to do now is to come up with better strategies on how to attack this common enemy of our nation. Now moving down on Punch. No true Muslim will kill Christians. Islamic cleric, Eleha. I'm interested in that. And how many other good Muslims, because we know we have very good Muslims in Nigeria, we agree with cleric Eleha. Are we talking about this to sound religiously or politically correct? If we are sure and we are convinced that it's God that we all worship, then killing each other will not help. And I think where true Muslims stay, keep quiet, and other people of other religion are being killed. Now, when these satanic agents that have infiltrated everywhere in Nigeria, they finish killing whoever, they can turn back and come and do more harm to other people. Because my father told me that no matter what you do for your girlfriend's son, he will find it difficult to call you Papa. What are we doing? If we see what is bad, no matter who do it, it's better that we condemn it and put up our voice together to condemn it. Because what is happening in Nigeria, when people see what is truth, they will say, they will consider tribe, religion, politics, zone, regional zone of Nigeria, consider so many things, affiliations. And the thing will keep destroying the country. And when it becomes late, the house that is falling down, the roof cannot stand. That's one thing about that. So many things about when we go up there, Obasanjo to federal government, stop apologizing and negotiating with terrorists. That's the common voice of the whole world. But somewhere in another platform, I said, the soldiers said they have to use that strategy to rescue people who are in danger at that point. It might be easier to say, do not negotiate, do not. But what we are saying, it shouldn't be a continuous thing. Every day people are kidnapped, arrested, and there will be negotiation. There should be a way of stopping it. If at a point you find it difficult and they have to devise that strategy to save the people in danger at that time, maybe that's the best they can do at that time. But we find these sounds funny in some kind of way. U.S. lawyers raped me at Bar Association conference. Ex-American judge Demi Louis says, this is lawyers versus lawyers. They need to sort themselves out, because my father said also, the proverb of bone and silence, that a beautiful face does not need to be pinched. The beautiful face of Nigerian Bar Association should not be pinched. Iru de madramwe tumbo by ex-American judge Demi Louis. He said he was raped. Is it raped justice rape? Or is it the other rape? Is it sexual rape? When you get the full details in the newspaper, Punchy Punch, you'll find out. But that's much. I'm only reviewing headlines here. We go to Vanguard. Insecurity. Our ranks, equipment have been infiltrated. Retired generals said, go after terrorism sponsors to stop this nonsense. And they put up there a clause said how to rescue Nigeria. National security emergency. The Nigerian generals react. It is very assuring that generals retired and one in active service are reacting to insecurity in Nigeria. From my bloody civilian man's angle, I know that generals do not retire. It's only in Nigeria you hear generals retire because they continue to be generals all their life. And they said in time of emergencies, all the generals that are passed through a military setting in a country are called to the drawing board to bring their experience to bear on how to solve the problem. Our generals, this is time, and they have started speaking. I think what it concerns about strategy and method of operations, you guys have to go into a closed door and bring out what makes you general in Nigerian military. Because once a general, always a general. This is the time to pull all our energies together, our best hands, and fight this common enemy of insecurity. So now that you guys have an idea how to rescue Nigeria, we want it to be applied and brought to bear on what is happening. Even generals are being killed by gunmen, terrorists, and bandits. And we have seen the recent example of General Uba, and it was very painful. I'm sure the Nigerian military, the Nigerian army, has not forgotten that in a hurry. And know, like the proverb of bone and silence says, when a slave sees where a fellow slave is, how a fellow slave is being buried, he should know that same fate awaits him or her. If the generals are not beginning to talk, he knows that when the stone climbs up, all the breakables down will begin to react. Now, let's go to Guardian newspaper. Motorists, commuters agonize over deplorable interstate roads as Yuletide beckons. Well, we have seen this over time. Whenever it's time for Christmas, a lot of issues are prompt up. And then we don't need Christmas season to come to repair the interstate roads. And it's not only Christmas that is celebrated in Nigeria. I think we have so many celebrations in Nigeria that calls for the repair of interstate roads. Nobody should put it on the Yuletide of Christmas so that there shouldn't be pressure on Christmas. If there is deplorable interstate roads, there are. So even as Christmas beckons, if Nigerian roads or interstate roads are bad, they are bad. Yuletide cannot make it better, or Yuletide cannot take the blame unless what we should, because now they will take that to the market and tell us that Yuletide and the cup of rice that has reduced so much will start adding up. We have to watch it. Leave Yuletide alone. Let's solve Nigerian problem. Well, as our time is quite fast going, Obovorori unveils ambitious 1.664 trillion Delta 2026 budget. We asked, most of the state governors are ceremoniously announcing their budgets. They didn't tell us, give us account of how the last year or the current year budget has run. Even the federal government did not implement 2025 budget. They are still running 2024. I don't know whether they are running it concurrently. There's confusion in the land. And the only one the stakeholders and people are told what's going on, it will pay us better. On the final note, VIP turns to correctional service, civil defense and private security firms as police disowns viral video memo of withdrawal of officers. You know, in Nigeria, the way fake news circulates, the police have said we are not withdrawing security from VIP officers. But that has gone round. Even in the Nation newspaper said VIPs are turned to the correctional centers. If you don't know what correctional service is, it used to be former prison, Nigerian prison. So they now turn to them and civil defense to provide, and private security firms. That is interesting. That is interesting. Let's watch how that works out. and then our time is up. Thank you for having been with us this morning. Thank you for tolerating us. And thank you, Ochoma Princess. And thank you, everybody. May God bless everybody. Bless you and bless me and bless all. But remember that God's blessings are meant for those who deserve to be blessed. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Chris, for joining me this morning. And coming up next are interviews for this morning. Do stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.